Well, you may recognize the sound, but it's pretty hard to follow John Scofield's directions at all times because, my friend, I'm sure when you were in Berkeley, studying at Berkeley in Boston, you said, I don't know if I'd ever do this.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Blues and that sort of thing was my very first thing before I ever went to music school or anything. But yeah, I wasn't practicing that when I was going to Berkeley. That's right.
Right. I mean, playing with Miles and Billy Cobham and all those people, this wasn't in the pocket at that time. But that sounds dirty. Piety Street, the first album, the first track on that album, sounds dirty.
Yeah.
I mean dirty, good dirty.
Yeah,
right?
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored. Thanks.
Oh, man. It's got such a groove to it. What is the philosophy and concept behind Piety Street, the new album?
Well, I went to New Orleans, Louisiana, where I know a bunch of great musicians and wanted to make a record. And that's pretty much the concept, was playing music from New Orleans with the great players down there and making my guitar fit in with that. And so we ended up doing a bunch of gospel tunes.
Oh, okay. So I thought maybe it was a lot deeper than that.
No, that's
you just happened to be there.
The deepness comes from my lifelong love of rhythm and blues and jazz, and especially from New Orleans, where they really mix jazz and R&B, and the R&B swings down there.
Why did you pick those particular guys to play with? I mean, obviously now you tell me that you probably knew them before you got there, but
actually,
why that bunch? There's a whole bunch of people there. Well, but why them?
They were just the guys that were my favorites, and some really wonderful musicians. And John Cleary, the guy who just sang lead on that track and piano, and then he's a giant, and I've known him for years. And George Porter Jr., who was the bassist with the Meters, the famous band from New Orleans, and that played on a lot of the hits that I love that came out of that city in the 60s. And we've got Terrence Higgins, the drummer from the Dirty Dozen brass band.
There's the dirt.
Yeah, some dirt there, yeah.
But it's amazing because what you're doing, and a lot of these tunes are yours, if not all of them.
No, a lot of them are traditional
right.
that I arranged.
Okay. But your heart and soul were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A stylistic chameleon you are.
That's what they tell me.
Well, it seems to work. But that sound that you've got, can you want to give away any secrets to up and coming guitar players?
There's no secrets. I think that everybody has their own sound. They just have to allow it to come out. You're
teaching in New York these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the university.
Yeah, at New York University. Yes.
What are you actually teaching there?
Well, here's the deal. I don't think you can really teach music. I hate to say it, but if somebody is talented, you can help them a lot. They're going to teach themselves by milking it out of you. So I just try and tell people my experience.
What are
some how I've learned how to play the guitar, which is music. It's just a real crazy grab this and grab that from here and there, and so I just tell them how I've done it, and then they're on their own.
How do they respond to that?
Well, sometimes not so good because they want a system, but I don't believe in systems other than the real just basic, architecture of music, which is, it's mathematical and everything, and we, of course, teach that.
It's a storytelling, but without words.
I think so, yeah.
That would work.
Yeah, well, that's good. But, no matter what, you got to be talented. That's the big problem for a lot of music students.
You said something interesting. You said that they're looking for a system. Yeah. Maybe they've come through the educational process with that kind of background.
Yeah.
That's an easier way.
Yeah.
Play this and it'll sound like this. Play this, it'll sound like that.
No, there's no way to get good unless you just practice all the time and you're one of the lucky ones that's talented. I hate to tell people the bad news, but
Well, that's not bad news. I think if you learn something, that's good news.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't you think? 200 dates of touring a year?
Yeah.
You've got a family?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Well, they put up with it, thank goodness. And my wife is my my manager, So it's her fault that I do all these gigs. She sends me out to do all this stuff.
So it's her fault we got you?
That's right.
Oh, we love her.
Yeah.
She's a joy. Tell her
too.
we all love her.
I love her
because she
too.
said
No,
it.
no. It's really worked out for us to do this. A lot of people in music, when somebody's lucky enough to get work and go on the road, it's hard for families. But I've been lucky that they've put up with it.
Let's go back to this new album because
Okay.
I'm fascinated.
Fantastic.
Because the arrangements sound like they're New Orleans arrangements. They
Yeah.
don't sound like somebody else,
Well, I
like
didn't
somebody who
wanna-
played
you
with Jim Hall or
Yeah,
whoever.
no, well, that's right. It's very different. It's, because I have a lot of respect for that music, so I wanted to play the real deal. I didn't want to, you can do anything. You can, if you're going to be there playing with the real cats in New Orleans, you might as well really try and get into it.
Should we play another track? You have to
Please
tell
do.
me what number. Just two,
Well,
three?
what's number 2? What's that called? There's one called "It's a Big Army." Put
That's
that one.
3. I like that one. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to play another track. Here's John Scofield from Piety Street on Jazz FM 91. It's a big army. It's a great album. How about a round of applause? Oh, that's so good. That is so good. You're going to have so many people up dancing tonight.
I hope
Who's in
so.
the band?
John Cleary, same as on the record tonight. It's John Cleary on keyboards and vocals, George Porter Jr. on the bass, and a different drummer than on this track. Terrence Higgins from the Dirty Dozen will be with us tonight.
You're going to have a great show. And a lot of folks up and dancing. I am
hope so.
sure.
I hope
John
so.
Scofield, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
All
Larry.
the best. Have a great tour. Safe journey.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.